Greetings everyone, back to another 3D drawing. So today, well, shall I just get right into it? I hope you're doing well today. So I'm going to start over here. And an upside down U, but this is going to be a little bit longer. And I'm using a Bic ballpoint pen, which consistently has been my favorite pen to draw with. They are maybe the cheapest pen ever made, and I have found them to be so reliable. Just a wonderful drawing pen. They're not water soluble, so if you're thinking to use these for your watercolor, it won't work. So it's not water soluble ink. So we've got an Igloo, and let's put this Igloo on a big block of ice. You can kind of make up your own block of ice. And these just come straight down. Make them the same length though. And just connect them. So we have this Igloo. Before I forget, I want to just do a little shading on this. We're going to shade the Igloo. I'm using cross hatching. But we're going to use some squiggly lines in this drawing also. I use them both. I think I prefer cross hatching. I think there's something really clean about it that I just kind of like. It seems precise. This side is actually facing the sun, so it's going to be a shade lighter. I would love to make an igloo someday. I wouldn't know where to begin. But apparently they are very warm inside. You can cut a hole in the top and have a fire in there, and depending on how cold it is outside, it will not melt even though there's a fire inside. And it can really warm it up quite a bit. I think that's awesome. I wonder if native people in way up north still use them. Okay, so there's our igloo, and it is going to reflect in water. So let's just put some reflection in it. This is off the picture plane. Actually, I don't care. Sometimes it matters if you go off the picture plane, but for our purposes, it really doesn't matter. So we just have this indication, of a reflection, and let's put some waves. It just gives us that sense that it's in water. Okay, so let's shade the igloo and start adding some nice touches to it. So the inside is going to be darker. Across the front, there'd be a cast shadow. So I'm going to put some form shadows, and now I'm going to use a squiggly line. You can still use the cross hatching, but practice both. In fact, with this one from here on in, I will use cross hatching for cast shadows, and I'll use squiggly lines for form shadows. So this is going to cast a shadow. This will cast a shadow. So let me use cross hatching. Okay. So now let me begin with some form shadows. So this is going to have a form shadow. I would start your form shadow out really lightly. It's another reason I really like these big ballpoint pens is you can control the intensity of the line by how much pressure you put in. Not all pens will do that for you. Some just have a flow. The kind of pen I'd really like to be able to work with is a fountain pen. However, fountain pens don't work that well with left-handed people because you end up dragging your hand across the wet ink and it smears. In fact, back in the day, they used to change kids. If they were left-handed, they'd change them to right-handed. And the wives' tale is people didn't want you to be left-handed because it was associated with the devil. That's a wives' tale. The reality is that if you were going to use a fountain pen, you really had to do it right-handed. So I'm trying to maintain some reflective light here. Especially in snow, there's going to be a lot of reflective light. So there we've got some shading. And about where your form shadow begins, that's where the cast shadow is going to be. So I'll continue to cross hatch for the cast shadow, just to show you a little, just the distinction. I think cross hatching is a little bit more precise. Like a cast shadow, it tends to have hard edges. Okay. Well, let's add some fun details. So this igloo has some modern stuff, like electricity. It's going to cast a shadow that's curved because this is curved also. And this is also It could happen. Let's add some cracks here. Uh-oh. I don't know. You can go crazy with these cracks. So igloos I associate with the top of the world, so my horizon line is going to be curved. You don't have to curve it if you want a straight line. And I'm going to have some icy mountains. So normally we curve our mountains. Let's make these more jagged. As if it's ice. Just don't make them all the same. Just kind of break it up. Since my light's coming from here, and I might as well just put the reflection in the water. While I'm doing this. Don't worry too much about making it perfect. If you need to do this, if that helps you. Being real careful to just be a mirror, because the water is going to be moving, it's going to distort things. Want to go over your shading on your iceberg mountains just to make it a little darker than what's reflecting in the water. Just to make it stand out a little bit more so we know where the land is. It's amazing that people live that far north. All right, my friends. Igloo. Have a great day.